Madam Webb was created by Denny O'Neil and John Romita Jr. in November of 1980. You might know her from Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s. Madam Webb's secret identity is Cassandra Webb. She's depicted as an elderly woman with myasthenia gravis, and thus was connected to a life support system that looked like a spider web. Due to her age and medical condition, Madam Webb never actively fought any villains. Madam Webb was a clairvoyant and precognitive mutant. Madam Webb was not one of the mutants that lost their power during the Decimation storyline. She was attacked by Sarah and Anna Kravinoff, who killed her, but not before she was able to pass her powers of precognition as well as her blindness on to Julia Carpenter, who became the next Madam Webb. Webb is the grandmother of the fourth Spider-Woman, Charlotte Witter. Cassandra Webb was born in Salem, Oregon. She is a paralyzed, blind, telepathic, clairvoyant, and precognitive mutant, allowing her to work as a professional medium. She was originally stricken with myasthenia gravis and was connected to a life support system designed by her husband, Jonathan Webb, which included a series of tubes shaped like a spider web. When Spider-Man approached her to find kidnapped Daily Globe publisher KJ Clayton, actually an impersonator, Madam Webb used her powers to help him locate and rescue both the real and fake Clayton, but disclosed to him that she had divined his secret identity. In the Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut story arc, she contacts Spider-Man for assistance. When Black Tom Cassidy dispatches the Juggernaut to capture her in the hope that her psychic powers would help them defeat the X-Men, only for her to nearly die after Juggernaut separated her from her life support system. This triggered a vicious fight between Spider-Man and the Juggernaut, who was subsequently trapped in a construction site's wet cement foundation. From the shock to her system, however, Madam Webb apparently lost her memory of Spider-Man's secret identity. She participates in an arcane ritual known as the Gathering of the Five, gaining immortality. She is restored to youth, and her myasthenia gravis is cured. Webb serves as a mentor of sorts to the third Spider-Woman, young Maddie Franklin. Madam Webb resurfaced and her psychic powers are intact after dissemination. However, since House of M, in which she did appear young, she seems to have regained her aged appearance, though the myasthenia gravis remains gone. This could indeed be taken as an effect of decimation. Madam Webb again returns in a backup feature in The Amazing Spider-Man number 600. She looks into the future, showing what are apparently quick looks into Spider-Man's future, only to see someone unraveling the web of fate, and fearfully exclaiming, "They're hunting spiders." After that, she is attacked by Anna Kravinoff and her mother Sasha. The pair incapacitate her and then claim, "We now have our eyes." She is seen still captured by Anna and her mother as they inspect their new quarry, Maddie Franklin. While still bound in a chair, she apologized to a then unconscious Maddie, who was later killed by Sasha Kravinoff. At the conclusion of Grim Hunt, Madam Webb has her throat slashed by Sasha Kravinoff in retaliation, as Sasha believed that Madam Webb was deceiving her and knew the outcome of the events that transpired. Before dying, she reveals she is no longer blind and passes her psychic powers over to Julia Carpenter. During the Dead No More, the Clone Conspiracy storyline, Madam Webb was cloned by the Jackal. She tipped off Prowler about a bank robbery vision she had, which he managed to stop the bank robbery. When Prowler goes to get more information on the hacker from Madam Webb, she tells him that she sees buildings filled with agony and cannot escape. When the villains at New U Technologies are getting out of control, Jackal sends Electro to find Prowler to put them under check again. Electro goes to Madam Webb's room and tortures the telepath into giving her Prowler's location with the intent to kill him. Julia Carpenter senses Madam Webb is alive from telepathic feedback, resulting from Electro's attack. Julia infiltrates the New U Technologies and uses the opportunity to investigate the near-abandoned facility. During this time, Julia is led to Madam Webb, who refuses to take her medication to aid her in healing from Electro's attack. Madam Webb has seen the future and refuses to be a part of it. Before dying from clone degeneration, Madam Webb tells Julia to save Prowler. Television. Madam Webb appeared in the Spider-Man animated series voiced by Joan B. Lee. She's reimagined as an ally of the Beyonder, with similar powers over reality. She was tasked with testing Spider-Man from alternate realities for the task of stopping Spider-Carnage from destroying the multiverse. With Spider-Man succeeding in his mission, she takes him to find his lost wife, Mary Jane Parker, as his reward. Madam Webb appears in Ultimate Spider-Man vs. Sinister 6, voiced by Cree Summer. This version of the character is a young redheaded girl named Julia Carpenter, and she does not suffer from either blindness or paralysis. She and Doctor Strange work together to get Spider-Man and Kid Arachnid to the other Spider-Verses to search for the pieces of the siege Perilous. Powers and abilities. Madam Webb is a mutant who possesses psychic sensory powers including telepathy, clairvoyance, prescience, and the ability to sense the presence of psionic powers in others. She can also perform psychic surgery and appear to others in spirit, astral form. She has a gifted intellect. When dying, she displayed the ability to transfer her mutation to another individual, Julia Carpenter, as well as her blindness. Madam Webb was a victim of myasthenia gravis, a disorder of neuromuscular junction transmission. As a result, she was an invalid entirely dependent on external life support for survival. This is no longer the case as she was cured of the condition some time ago. She is also blind. Madam Webb is cybernetically linked to a spiderweb-like life support chair, which attends to all of her bodily needs. What are your thoughts about these characters? If you like the content that we make, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified when we upload new videos.